Hello and welcome to Historical Humans Reads, where we take primary sources and bring them to your screen. I'm Colum Coleman, and today we are reading from the Shahnameh, or the Book of Kings. The Shahnameh is a Persian epic poem composed between 977 and 1010 CE by the poet Ferdowsi. It is the national poem of Greater Iran and comprised of 500 distichs. It is the longest epic poem in the world. The Shahnameh is written in Classical Persian and tells of the mythological history of Persia and Iran. Today, we are reading an excerpt from Book 1, the Shah of Old. With that, let's begin. Kamers first sat upon the throne of Persia and was master of the world. He took up his abode in the mountains and clad himself and his people in tiger skins. And from him sprang all kindly nurture and the arts of clothing, till then unknown. Men and beasts from all parts of the earth came to him to do him homage and receive laws at his hands, and his glory was like to the sun. Then Ahriman the evil, when he saw how the Shah's honor was increased, waxed envious and sought to usurp the diadem of the world. So he bade his son, the mighty Div, to gather together an army to go out against Kamers and his beloved son Sayamuk, and destroy them utterly. Now, Saroshk, the angel who defendeth men from the snares of the Divs, and who each night flieth 7 times around the earth, that he may watch over the children of Ormuzd, when he learned of this, appeared like unto a Peri, and warned Kamers. So, when Sayamuk set forth at the head of his warriors to meet the army of Ahriman, he knew that he was contending against a Div, and he put forth all his strength. But the Div was mightier than he, and overcame him, and crushed him under his hands. When Kamers heard the news of mourning, he was bowed to the ground. For a year he did weep without ceasing, and his army wept with him. Yea, even the savage beasts and the birds of the air joined in the wailing, and sorrow reigned in the land, and all the world was darkened, until the Sorach bade the Shah lift his head and think on vengeance. And Kamers obeyed, and commanded Husheng, son of Sayamuk, take lead of the army, and march against the Divs. And the king, by reason of his great age, went in the rear. Now there were in the host Peris, also tigers, lions, wolves, and other fierce creatures. And when the black Div heard their roaring, he trembled for very fear. Neither could he hold himself against them, and Husheng routed him utterly. Then, when Kamers saw his well-beloved son was revenged, he laid him down to die, and the world was void of him. And Husheng reigned in his stead. Now Husheng was a wise man and just, and the heavens revolved over his throne 40 years. Justice did he spread over the land, and the world was better for his reign. For he first gave to men fire, and showed them how to draw it from out the stone. And he taught them how they might lead the rivers, that they should water the land and make it fertile. And he bade them till and reap. And he divided the beasts, and paired them, and gave them names. And when he passed to a brighter life, he left the world empty of a throne of power. But Tahumers, his son, was not unworthy of his sire. He too opened the eyes of men, and they learned to spin and to weave, and he reigned over the land long and mightily. But of him also were the Divs right envious, and sought to destroy him. Yet Kamers overcame them and cast them to the earth. Then some craved mercy at his hands, and swore how they would show him an art if he would spare them. And Kamers listened to their voice, and they taught him the art of writing, and thus from the evil Divs came a boon upon mankind. Howbeit, when Kamers had sat upon the golden throne for the space of 30 years, he passed away, but his works endured. And Jamshid, his glorious son, whose heart was filled with the counsels of his father, came after him. Now Jamshid reigned over the land 700 years, girt with might, and Deves, birds, and Peris obeyed him. And the world was happier for his sake. And he too was glad, and death was unknown among men. Neither did they wot of pain or sorrow. And he first parceled out men into classes, priests, warriors, artificers, and husbandmen did he name them. And the year also he divided into periods. And by the aid of the Deves, he raised mighty works, and Persepolis was builded by him, that to this day is called Tukht et Jamshid, which, being interpreted, meaneth the throne of Jamshid. Then, when these things were accomplished, men flocked from all corners of the earth around his throne to do him homage and pour gifts before his face. And Jamshid prepared a feast and bade them keep it, and called it Newroz, which is the new day. And the people of Persia keep it to this hour, and Jamshid's power increased, and the world was at peace, and men beheld him not but what was good. This has been an excerpt from Shahnameh on Historical Humans Reads. If you enjoyed this video and like to hear more excerpts from original texts, please follow or subscribe to us on your platform of choice. If there is a work you would like to hear, be sure to like the video and leave a comment below. Thank you for listening.